Hi, and welcome to Grange Park's first ever all-virtual National Night Out event. This year, we'll be taking a look at different parts of the community and the men and women that serve it. All proceeds from this event will be going towards Special Olympics of Illinois. Enjoy the show.
Law enforcement in general is very unique, in which it gives you the ability to interact with youth and residents in the community on a daily basis. Those interactions can be positive or negative. You can change someone's attitude towards police in a matter of a few seconds. It's a very rewarding career and something that I wanted to do from a very young age. I graduated from Nazareth Academy in Grange Park many years ago. Then I went to College of DuPage, obtained an associate's degree in law enforcement, got a bachelor's degree in law enforcement from Governor State University, and then a master's degree in public safety administration through Lewis University. I'm a graduate of Northwestern University Center for Public Safety, School of Police Staff and Command. I was very fortunate enough to be sent to that school by the administration when I was in the patrol commander position here in Grange Park. Law enforcement in general is ever-changing, and we really are changing our focus to more of a technological advancements within the profession itself. Some of the things that we've done in the last couple of years that we're really focusing on more removal of the paper and pen, focusing on computer-based programs. As the Chief of Police for LaGrange Park, one of my main goals is to make sure that my staff are given the necessary equipment and training to be successful at their job. That is my main focus and the main goal that I have for this department. Most recently, with the new Safety Act that came out, there's mandatory trainings that we need to partake in. Most recently, 80% of our officers here are certified in CIT, which focuses on dealing with individuals that have mental challenges. I think the most impactful part of my job is having the ability to really change someone's life in a positive way. From dealing with youth of the community to adults to those struggling, having the ability to really change someone's life in a positive note is the best part of our job. This whole town is a family. You might not lay your head here at night, but when you're here, we are all family. So National Night Out is one night a year where law enforcement and the community really focus on strengthening a partnership to fight against crime. National Night Out to me means the bringing together of the community and law enforcement in a non-enforcement role. Being able to communicate with the youth of the community on a one-on-one basis and interact in a positive note can have lasting impacts on children and the community. I think our previous record speaks for itself. I think 2 years ago we had over 1,500 people in the park. People from other communities come to LaGrange Park because they know our National Night Out program is probably one of the best around. We're nationally recognized, and we're also state recognized very highly in our category group. To be a police officer in LaGrange Park, the best thing that I could recommend is to start with doing some research on law enforcement in general, and really focus on strengthening yourself so that you have the ability to have better communication skills or good communication skills. Most recently, we've just compiled an eligibility list for law enforcement officers for LaGrange Park. That list is valid for 2 years. It could go sooner. It could the list could get extinguished relatively quickly based on the needs of the department. We are currently at full staff, so I don't foresee anyone being notified off of that list. To make sure that you follow the LaGrange Park Police Department Facebook page or social media accounts and/or our village website where we have postings for job applications.
Special Olympics Illinois is a non-for-profit organization that provides training and competition in 18 sports for over 23,000 athletes here in Illinois. Along with competition and sports, Special Olympics Illinois also provides leadership training and health programming for our athletes. Athletes can be a part of various committees and boards where they learn different leadership activities and trainings along with different aspects of their health and how they can promote that throughout the state. Locally here in Region C, we cover Kane, DuPage, Kendall, and Western Cook counties, and we have about 3,000 athletes. That's about 12% of the entire state. Special Olympics Illinois is important because it does transform the lives of our athletes. It provides so much more than just sporting events. We have health trainings and leadership trainings. We develop relationships with community members and partners. We just kind of bring the community together and really show off our athletes and all that they have to offer. So the Law Enforcement Torch Run is a movement within Special Olympics Illinois that benefits our athletes. Their two main goals are to raise funds for Special Olympics Illinois and to promote awareness for our athletes. So the LETR, also known as the Law Enforcement Torch Run, is a huge chain. A lot of people know them well through the interstate relay that they do. They have 23 legs and routes that they run throughout the state. They run 1,500 miles, about 3,000 officers running through local communities all throughout the state. And that is one of the biggest events that they are known for. They also are taking the lead on our polar plunges, our Cop on a Rooftop events, our truck convoys, all things like that. Since 1986, the LETR has raised about $50 million for Special Olympics Illinois, and their main goals are just promoting awareness and raising funds for our athletes. One of my favorite memories was at state powerlifting this would have been 2018. We had a powerlifter who was deadlifting 475 pounds, and he was the very last athlete. All of the other athletes were completed and finished, and they all stuck around with their families and friends just to watch this one athlete get his personal best at deadlifting 475 pounds. And it was, the whole place just uproared, and it was so awesome to see everyone stick around and cheer for what should have been their competition, but they wanted him to succeed just as much as they wanted to see themselves succeed. My favorite part about Special Olympics is just the community and the camaraderie that it brings, whether it's with our athletes, our families, our partners. When you're at a Special Olympics event, community is just huge, and everyone is there for the sole purpose of cheering on our athletes and rooting for them and watching them succeed. And that's just the best part, is everyone coming together for one cause. You can learn more about Special Olympics Illinois at www.soill.org. There you can also see our directory and contact a local staff member that way. Carrie, how many years have you been competing in Special Olympics?
I have been competing with Special Olympics for 21 years.
21 years, wow.
Yeah.
What sports do you compete in?
I have competed in rhythmic gymnastics and artistic gymnastics. I did rhythmic gymnastics for 10 years and artistic for, well, it would be 11 this year.
Wow. Wow. I see you have a badge on right there. It says Global Messenger.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What does it mean to be a global messenger?
It's basically, it's another part of, it means that I'm going to different places within my community and bringing awareness to Special Olympics, whether it be through appearances or giving speeches.
Very cool. What agency do you compete with in Special Olympics?
I am with CSPAR, and and it's an acronym, and the long version, I guess, would be Southeast Association for Special Parks and Recreation.
Right, and CSPAR also serves Grange Park, right?
I didn't know that.
They do. They do. So LaGrange Park District feeds into the C-SPAR community as well.
Okay, I did not know that. Good to know.
Yeah, good to know, right? What is your favorite part about Special Olympics Illinois?
It's the being able to be like with my friends and teammates and being able to like cheer each other on and like be like team spirit and supportive of each other.
Very cool, very cool. How many medals do you have?
Oh goodness, too many to count.
That's a pretty good achievement to have.
Yes.
All right, Carrie, what is your favorite memory about Special Olympics
Well, some of
Illinois?
my favorite memories were being with one of my friends and teammates at the 4th of July parade. We were grand marshals.
Oh, wow, I bet that was awesome. Did you wave at everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then we also got to, me and my friend, were at at state where, like, you've got this whole, I don't know if it's stadium, but like
Hancock Stadium at ISU
at
Illinois State.
At ISU, where like there's a ton of people, and we're following every team from Illinois.
The parade of athletes.
Yeah, the parade of athletes, and then including, I think, even the law enforcement
Yep,
is
absolutely.
there, and like, so I got to do that with my team,
That's pretty awesome.
which was pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's the entrance where the law enforcement torch run brings in the torch to summer games. And so they bring in the torch and then they greet all of our athletes at summer games while you guys come onto the field and all the fans are cheering for you.
That was cool.
Wasn't that awesome?
Yes.
Yes. Don't you feel like a celebrity?
Yes.
How do you think Special Olympics has benefited you throughout your life?
I mean, I was a teenager when I started competing. So I think I've grown as an athlete, definitely. And I can, like, and I know that I'm definitely, like, I can definitely be a role model for, like, the next generation of athletes.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I
Which-
think you can too.
Which feels good.
Yes, absolutely. Sergeant Fellers, can you talk to us a little bit about LaGrange Park's National Night Out program?
I can, thank you. National Night Out is a program that is hosted from coast to coast every year in communities much like ours. It's an opportunity for the police department to host a night where the public gets together with the public safety departments in that community. And we have a fest and promote closeness and crime awareness, and also have an opportunity to build a relationship with people that we might not otherwise have any contact with.
Awesome. What is LaGrange Park Police Department's relationship with Special Olympics Illinois?
So this year, recently, we participated in the law enforcement torch run. Some of our officers were able to attend and had an amazing time, and that inspired our crossover with National Night Out to pair with Special Olympics to further that bond.
What is the goal of National Night Out?
So National Night Out is an opportunity for us to build a relationship with the public. And part of that this year is us building a closer bond and relationship with Special Olympics of Illinois.
Other than National Night Out, are there any other programs that the LaGrange Park Police Department will be involved with Special Olympics Illinois?
Yes. So given the opportunity to pair National Night Out with Special Olympics this year, we're really excited to try to put some other events together so that we can help benefit all the athletes in our area in Region C. We would like to do a public safety softball tournament. We plan on doing that in the October time frame. where we'll get everybody together and have athletes from the police department and the fire department compete in a one-day softball tournament and raise money and funds for Special Olympics.
Awesome. And maybe we can get you guys to come out and volunteer at some of our events sometime
We would
soon.
absolutely love that given the opportunity, yes.
I'm sure our athletes would love it as well.
Awesome, yeah.
Well, on behalf of Special Olympics Illinois, we want to thank you and the Grange Park Police Department for all that you guys are doing and for promoting awareness to us and our athletes.
Thank you so much, Kaylin. I look forward for the opportunity to pair with Special Olympics, to meet the athletes, and to put on a really good program this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. LaGrange Park's edition of Cops is filmed on location with the men and women of LaGrange Park law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So this is the at what's called the afternoon shift. This shift runs from 2:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. This is typically one of our busier shifts. People are coming home from work, kids are home from school, businesses are still open. So this is when we typically see our domestic disputes, retail thefts. We do get a lot of action in our parks. People are out, they're enjoying themselves, the weather's nice during the summer. So this is when we have the potential for a lot of interaction with the public in both a good and sometimes a not so good sense. So at the beginning of my shift, because I'm a shift supervisor, my job is to drive around town, make sure that there's no signs of distress in any of the businesses, that my officers are fulfilling their assigned tasks. Traffic enforcement is a big thing in this town. We have a main road going through town, LaGrange Road. So traffic enforcement is always a priority. We want to make sure that people are driving safe and respecting the rules of the road. So if there's not a call requesting or requiring immediate police intervention at the beginning, then we typically drive around and work more in proactive policing than reactive policing. So this is one of our apartment complexes. We've got 4 main apartment complexes in town. This one's really, really nice, really scenic. This is actually one of our older ones. One of our first trustees in our town built these back when the village was still forming and such. We've got 14,000 residents essentially in town. We are a community that's nestled in the near west suburbs of Chicago. Our border is from Gilbert, which is Willow Springs Road on our west end, 17th Avenue, which is known as Maple, on our east end. Our north end is just shy of Cermak, and our south end is just a little north of Ogden. We are bordered by Westchester, Brookfield, LaGrange, and Western Springs. We border Brookfield on Kemen here. So a couple streets over, you'll get into Brookfield, and then we move further east all the way to 17th Avenue. But LaGrange Park has got a really nice sense of diversity. We've got, all walks of life, all socioeconomic groups. We really have a nice sense of community here. Everybody works in really good harmony. For the most part, our crime is very low. Obviously you're going to be dealing in service calls in any environment, in any community. And we've got a public that really supports the police here and recognizes the necessity for a cooperation and a relationship between the police department and the community as a whole. I've been very fortunate. There's an excellent dichotomy here between doing policing that is close to a city environment because we are so close to Chicago, but then also having that hometown feel. The residents here know each other. They know the police department. When you drive down the street, you wave to people. You know them on a first-name basis. You know the business owners. You ask about their families, about their kids. It's nice working in a place where people recognize you and know you, and you do the same. And you take a vested interest when you know and care about the people that you service. 31st Street is one of our busier streets. This is where we have our businesses lined up, some of our restaurants. People come here to dine. It's really nice. There's outdoor seating in a lot of these places. So when you get things going in and out of town, typically it's on either LaGrange Road or 31st Street. So this is an area in town where people use this route, especially in the morning, to get to and from work. So we do at times see people, violating some of the traffic laws. And most of the time we pull people over, we let them know why we're pulling them over, and all it takes is a verbal warning to let people know, hey, you were going too fast, it presents danger. And most of the time people are very thankful that we're giving them that warning and not writing them a ticket, because that's not always the best option, is to write a ticket. Sometimes the best option is just to let someone know they were doing something that could potentially cause harm, and they're appreciative of that. And I think that's really why we're out here, is not to give people a hard time or to be strict about the enforcement action, but it's to let people know that their actions have consequences, and we want to work together for everybody to be safe. So, and I think that's why, especially in LaGrange Park, we're pushing our initiatives like National Night Out to try to build that bridge and that understanding and that relationship with the public. It's more important now than ever to really be able to show the public what we deal with on a day-to-day basis, and then to also have them come out when interested. We promote people coming out for ride-alongs. We promote people being a part of our events. It's something we want. We want to bring the community into our world and show them what it's like to be a part of law enforcement. So on our radio band, we actually have 4 different communities that are dispatched from the same center. We've got Countryside, Western Springs, LaGrange, and LaGrange Park. So throughout the shift, you'll hear the radio traffic of the other towns and what they have going on in their towns, which is nice because if something's happening on our collective borders, you can lend mutual aid and go there and help them out too. Working in smaller police departments, you need the extra help time to time when a major event happens, like a bad accident or a critical event, which does happen. So at times, if we need additional power or staffing, we will have other units come out at request. And likewise, if we hear something going on in another town and they are so wrapped up in it that they can't request help, we'll go over there proactively to help them out. I've been here for 16 years. I've been here since 2006, roughly. It's been a wonderful career. I've seen a lot of different things. This job opens you up to a lot of different experiences. I've worked for 3 different police chiefs now, so I've seen different managerial styles, different ways of viewing how to approach this career and how to teach people that are entering into this field. It's very interesting. Seeing how the different generational gaps and experiences has formulated different styles of policing. I'm fortunate enough to where I was able to sample from some of the old school policing and to be able to see now some of the innovations in dealing with mental health issues, people with PTSD, those coming back from service, those who have suffered traumatic brain injuries, and learning how to better service the needs of that group of people. So I would say what makes this town so unique, in my opinion, is that we're basically a bedroom community. And by that I mean when the founders of this town got together and created this village and incorporated this town, they wanted it to be a town that people go to raise families, to get out of the hustle and bustle of the city of Chicago, and to really be able to have that home feel.
We get a lot of people that move here from different neighborhoods in the city, like Lincoln Park and the West Loop, and they move here, and the first thing that they remark when we get an opportunity to talk to them is how incredibly peaceful it is. How that even though they're so close to the city, much of the town is surrounded by forest preserves, and they get to feel that nature and be a part of that. And the first thing they do when they come out here is they buy a kayak, and they kayak, or they walk the trails that are provided by the Cook County Forest Preserve. They love that they can be so close to the city and the things that they used to enjoy, like restaurants and activities and festivals, but still raise a family in a place that's quiet and peaceful and promotes being connected with your community and being able to be outside and really enjoy the things that this town has to offer. So I would have to say for sure that is one of the things that we are really well known for, is maintaining that small town feel in a very urban area. Everybody's really happy to see the police most of the time. Obviously, what's very unique about this job and this career is that you deal with people sometimes at their best and sometimes at their worst. And you're going into a situation where somebody might have lost a loved one, or might have experienced a hardship, or is dealing with mental illness or a drug addiction, and we're trying to lend help in that situation. And it's tough because sometimes it takes a long time for that situation to deteriorate to that point, and it's tough because we try to go in there in a moment's notice and try to find a solution. But it's really amazing when we get those opportunities to help someone, or someone is truly grateful and thanks us for our intervention and thanks us for lending a helping hand. And those are the moments I think that keep you coming back even when things are really difficult, and it just makes the job worth it. So if someone wanted to become a police officer with the Village of Grange Park, they would get an application. We hold enrollments or applications every 2 years, I believe, when the list expires. We hire from a list of candidates that go through a rigorous testing process. It starts out with a written test. From there, it then goes to a oral interview. Then there's a background investigation, a polygraph examination, a psychological examination, and a medical. And then once you've passed all those things, you're placed on a list to be drawn from for candidates. If you're selected at that point, then you go to a police academy, one of 3 or 4 police academies that we send officers to. And then you go through about 4 to 5 months of training in the police academy. Once that's complete, if completed successfully and all the state tests are passed, then you come to the station, to the street rather, and then you're assigned a field training officer. And then for another 3 months, you're taught in person with an officer in the vehicle with you how to be a police officer in LaGrange Park. In Illinois, we have the practice in Illinois where the police department hires you first and then sends you to the police academy. Other states, I believe Florida, you can, as a civilian, elect to send yourself to a police academy and then apply for positions, much like in the nursing field where you go to nursing school and then you apply to hospitals. In Illinois, you get hired and then you get sent to the police academy. The requisites to become a police officer in LaGrange Park is to have 60 college credits, have a good background, have a good driving record. You are put through a background investigation wherein the detectives from the department will go and talk to your neighbors and your former employers, your friends and family, to make sure you're of good moral character, trustworthy, exhibit good integrity. We want to make sure that when we're hiring officers in LaGrange Park that they're people that we can trust and entrust the public with their, hi buddy, that we can make sure that the public can trust these officers too. It takes a lot of different personalities and a lot of different walks of life and perspective to do this job. And that's one thing I would have to say I'm very proud of with LaGrange Park, is that we have a very diverse group of officers. We've got men and women, white, black, Hispanic. We're very lucky to have officers who bring a different life experience to the job. We've got officers that are in their late 50s. We've got officers that are in their early 20s. And it's interesting to see how each group draws from each other's experience. I know our older officers go to the younger officers for knowledge about technology and computers and social media, and our younger officers go to the older officers with experience and seek their knowledge about how to handle calls and deal with people and things that they haven't yet encountered that those senior officers have dealt with quite a bit. For the most part, LaGrange Park is really quiet. You know, obviously there's always that unknown that can happen, that call that you're not expecting. I think when you work in a quieter community that has less crime, the lack of frequency sometimes makes response to a call that could be an emergency call be kind of precarious. It's not something you're used to dealing with every day, so you have to really stop and take a moment and reflect upon what your training has taught you to do, and make sure that you think through the situation. So I've been fortunate enough, especially in recent years, to attend a lot of trainings, which I think is very important when you're talking about career development and servicing the needs of the public. Recently, I was sent to crisis intervention training, which is a state certification class on how to deal with subjects with mental health issues or altered mental status, those who are dealing with drug addiction or PTSD or traumatic brain injuries. And basically it's just a method that we're taught on how to better service those individuals. It blends a model of essentially being like almost like a social worker and a police officer in those moments. You know, our primary function there is to make sure that people are safe, that our ambulance company is safe, and that the individual is being taken care of. But we also want to make sure that we are giving a soft approach to that. We want to make sure that we are considerate of the needs of the person in that traumatic moment. So the state of Illinois is mandating that all officers attend CIT training, or crisis intervention training. Basically what it is it's a class that shows officers that it's okay to take an extra moment to dissect a situation that might be excited, that it might be complex, that might have a component of mental health that you need to take a special consideration for. My takeaway from the training that I went to with CIT was that it's really just about having a humanitarian approach towards people who are not in the same frame of mind that you might be in that moment. At different points in our lives, we all deal with really stressful events. We all deal with things that put us in a really scary or upset, frame of mind. And I think that consideration of that is important. And I think when an officer is dealing with an enforcement action or responding to a call, they have to keep that in mind, that this person might not be in their best frame of mind, or their best selves. So I think it's important that when responding to that call, officers take an extra moment, utilize patience, because time is on our side. We have the ability to take our time on these calls to make sure that the resolution is safe and it meets the needs of the person that you're dealing with. So we work closely with our schools and our school district when it comes to training. When Nazareth Academy added their addition to their building, they brought us in, acclimated us to the new portions of the school, so that if we had to respond there for an emergency call, we would know where we're going, the different parts of the building and things of that nature. We work closely with them with active shooter drills. Unfortunately, because that is a constant threat, myself and another sergeant were sent to a training class. It's a grim reality, but it is something that you have to be prepared for, and how to react in those situations. So we work closely with the schools to train students and staff on how to respond in a situation that could potentially happen like that. So when I was younger, I knew I had a love for the law. I wasn't sure going into college whether I wanted to enforce it or practice it. So that was really tough. It was a time frame where I could see myself being in a courtroom and arguing cases and doing briefs and closing and opening statements. But I think when I took my criminal justice classes and some of my pre-law classes in college, I realized I wanted to have a more immediate positive effect on people. So I knew that enforcing was going to be the path that I would love the most. So when I started taking my criminal justice classes and had the good opportunity to meet retired officers and retired federal agents and hear their stories and their experiences, I knew I was making the right decision by going into law enforcement. I've been very fortunate to work with people that I greatly respect, for bosses that I greatly respect, and I've learned a lot. And I think I've seen some pretty amazing things and some pretty tragic things, unfortunately. But I mean, that's human nature. You know, it's not always going to be pretty. And getting into this field, I've been very fortunate to be able to see and experience things that most people will never get to see and experience. So for all the times it was tough and you'd get up and go, I don't know if I can go to work and do this again today, knowing that you had an opportunity to affect a positive change on someone's life every shift, and getting up and knowing that that is something that you're vested with, makes it easier to get up and go through the arduous moments. So if we make an arrest for a violation of the law or an ordinance, then what we would do is we do a report. That person, if it's an arrest, they're processed, and then they're given a court date. The follow-up from that is that we go to court, and if we need to testify to what we saw or observed, then we'll go in front of the judge, be sworn in, and the judge asks, or the lawyer will ask, what happened in this event. The prosecutor will ask the facts of the case, and then it's decided upon by the judge to see if there's beyond a reasonable doubt reason to convict the person of what we arrest them for. Many times the best outcome is when the person can be sent to, if it's a arrest for like a driving under the influence, if they can be sent to classes or a victim impact panel or seek help. That's really what we want to see. It's not always about the punishment, it's about the rehabilitation. We really want people to get help, and sometimes the best way to do that is to be forced to go in front of a judge and be told you have to get help. I can't tell you how many times I've made an arrest and people have gotten help, and they've come back later to thank me and to say, I appreciate you intervening when most people didn't or most people wouldn't, and it put me on a better path, and now I've straightened my life up. And even though you don't get that thank you all the time, the rare times it does happen, it's incredibly meaningful, because you know that person went out of their way to reconnect with you, to tell you that you changed their life for the better. It's a wonderful feeling.
We'll start off with our business checks. So we'll just drive past all of our businesses, make sure we don't see like any broken windows or anything that looks out of the ordinary. So if you just see, so you kind of become familiar with the people who normally work there. So if you kind of see just somebody who looks random in there, nobody's supposed to be in this store at 7:30 in the morning, then it never hurts to, get out of your car and just do a business check and talk to them and make sure they belong there. We do it throughout our shift just to make sure everything's looking okay. Sometimes you get shoplifting calls, stuff like that. So we try to drive through or past our businesses pretty frequently throughout our shift. So all shifts do them for the most part. Like I said, we just try to keep an eye on our businesses, make sure everything looks okay. So we did our business checks along the Grange Road, so we drive through the residential streets, make ourselves visible, make sure, again, nothing looks out of the ordinary, and you become familiar with the area, so if there's something sticking out, you notice it right away. I grew up in Chicago. Growing up, I didn't grow up in the nicest neighborhood. So I actually played basketball when I was in grammar school, and my basketball coach was a Chicago police officer. And just seeing how he interacted with people in my community kind of got drawn to that. So I found it interesting, and it kind of just stuck with me. I was like, oh, I think I want to be a police officer one day. So I will be here, it'll be 7 years come September. I was testing for several police departments, and then I happened to be on the list here and got hired. So yeah, here we are today. We are a smaller department, so obviously we don't have as many specialties as a bigger place would, but I think it's a good department. I like it here, you know, we're pretty family-like, so a lot of people, I think, kind of get us confused with LaGrange, obviously, you know, just because of the name, but we are located right next to LaGrange. Our population, or our demographics, it's a pretty family-oriented community. I think we do have a lot of elderly residents as well. But yeah, a lot of families with kids. So it's a very small community, about 13,000 residents. Call-wise, I think people are pretty good about calling in anything that they find suspicious, which is not a bad thing because it never hurts to check on stuff just to make sure everything's okay. So if there's a suspicious car parked in front of somebody's house, they're pretty good about calling that in. If it's a car they've never seen in the area before, or somebody they know does not live in the area or anything like that. I mean, we're pretty quiet for the most part, as far as where more accidents might occur. Probably down by the area around 31st and LaGrange. I think just because it's such a busy intersection, especially during rush hour. We do respond to calls at the forest preserves surrounding us, just because I think for the most part we'll arrive before they can get there. Normally we end up turning everything over to them if it does occur within the forest preserve. But for the most part, it's typically, you know, ambulance calls or people just calling in suspicious vehicles. So we'll start off with our camera here. So we do have a dash camera. So once I activate my emergency lights, this automatically comes on and it starts recording everything going on in front of the squad. We have a radar for traffic purposes. We have a tough book here where this is how I can communicate with dispatch, how I read all of my calls coming through. We have a radio down here. So we actually share, we have a consolidated dispatch center. So we share a radio band with LaGrange, Western Springs, and Countryside. So we hear all of their radio traffic. So that's one of our officers. So he's on a traffic stop. So we'll swing by just to see what he's got. We have the Citizens Police Academy, which is run by one of our officers. So he basically sets it up to show residents what being a police officer kind of consists of. So he'll run them through scenarios, like he'll try to do traffic stops with them. Obviously not real traffic stops, but he'll set up scenarios where they can see what it's like when we're on a traffic stop approaching a vehicle, talking to the driver of the vehicle and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Kind of shows you what we do on a day-to-day basis. So to sign up for that, people can also come into the station, pick up an application, and it runs from specific dates. So I think that's pretty popular. There are signs throughout the village. We do not allow street parking from 2 to 6 in the morning. So in order to park on the street during that period of time, you do have to put your cars on the overnight list, which people can do by either calling our dispatch center or going on the village website. It gives you a drop-down menu where you see the option for overnight parking. So you would put down your license plate number, what kind of car you have, and where it will be parked. And that's how you avoid overnight parking tickets. We do have a vacation watch program, so anytime you're going on vacation, or say you have your house up for sale and it'll be unoccupied for some period of time, we do offer a vacation watch program where you can come into our police department. You'll complete a card with all the pertinent information, and we do checks on the home periodically. So the shifts rotate, and the home gets checked on every other day by different shifts, not only a specific shift. So it won't only get checked in the morning, it'll also get checked in the afternoon hours, midnight. So you'll sign up with your email, and once your house has been checked, you normally get an alert letting you know that your house has just been checked, and it lets you know if there were any issues that were found, or if everything looked okay. Whether you're out of town for 2 days or out of town for the entire winter, we don't have a specific time period that we'll only check on it. So whatever dates you will be gone or you would like your house checked on, you'll set the range of dates on your information there. And once you return or no longer want the home checked on, you can come back in and let us know that you are back, and your address will be taken off of the list. So we'll check windows, doors, make sure everything's secured, make sure all the doors are locked, make sure you don't see any broken windows, any screen doors that were open or anything like that. And if you do notice a problem or anything that you notice maybe shouldn't be there, you would note that on here, and the homeowner would get a message when they get their notification letting them know that the home was checked, so they'll be able to see all of that. Yes, so everything here was okay, so we'll do a second one now. So we do have a microchip scanner back at our station. So if we do have a dog that was turned over to us, we'll typically take them back to the station and scan them for a microchip and try to locate an owner. We'll hold them for a little bit, and if we are not able to locate an owner, we do take them down to the Hinsdale Humane Society. So we turn them over to them. We also have a Facebook page, so any dogs that are turned over to us, we do post on our Facebook page. This is our cemetery. We've had a couple incidents in here over the last couple months involving shootings and stuff, so we kind of just try to drive through here. We do have a guy that we see here typically, you know, through the day. He's like the groundskeeper, and they do have directors and stuff who you'll randomly see walk around from time to time. Yeah, there's always people in here, even though the sign says it's closed after sundown. So we just try to make rounds through here just to make sure everything looks okay.
Understood.
I think a lot of memorable moments have to be with, I think a lot of them involve just children in general, because sometimes, you know, a lot of times actually, especially nowadays, I feel like running into children, being that people do not see police in the best light at this current time, I feel like a lot of children are, I don't know, a little bit afraid of the police now. So, you know, just being able to interact with them and, you know, being able to show them that you're not as scary as they think, and they actually warm up to you, that's always kind of nice. I think actually Nazareth Academy is one of the things that makes it kind of unique. When they have football games, it's kind of nice watching the huge turnout, and the crowd just gets really excited to be there. We actually haven't really ran into any issues crowd-wise. We normally just assist with traffic control after games, just because, again, sometimes there's so many people, and Ogden Avenue is already a pretty busy street as it is. So we'll occasionally just assist with traffic control and get everybody out of there safely.
Alright, we're going to be responding to another traffic stop from an officer in the area of LaGrange and Homestead. Again, it's important to back officers on these types of stops because you never really know what the situation could entail. Most of the time it's just a traffic violation, but there are those rare occasions where it ends up being something more. Sometimes an officer will stop someone that might have just committed a crime, and then that person has a different motive not to stop for the officer or to possibly resist the officer if the officer's going through their enforcement obligations. So we always like to make sure that we're backing up an officer when they're completing or conducting a stop. Most of the time, like I said, it's a peaceful and normal resolution, normal interaction. Okay, so the officer stopped the The officer stopped the driver for a speeding infraction. The driver was warned about the speed they were going and was given just a verbal warning, not a written ticket. We're going to be backing up another officer on another traffic stop. Again, it's important to always keep in mind that traffic stops are very unpredictable. Anything can happen. The nature of a traffic stop is such that you want to make sure you back up an officer to see if they need your help or assistance with anything, especially when you have a shift with some younger officers, less experienced officers. You want to make sure you're there to answer any questions, especially as a supervisor, and that way if they need something or if they need guidance on something, you're there to give that. When you're responding to a call or backup, you always want to make sure that even though you have your lights and sirens on, other vehicles might not have the time to see you or might not be paying attention. So even though you technically have the right of way when you're responding to an emergency fashion, you always want to be cognizant that sometimes people aren't paying attention and you want to avoid an accident. So it's always good to drive safe even if you have your lights and sirens on. Okay, on this situation, this subject, the driver,
Okay, 2317,
failed to register his plates. The driver of the vehicle did not speak any English, was a Spanish-speaking driver, and the officer that pulled over the driver is bilingual. So in situations like this, it's important to have a police department that has multiple abilities, multiple skill sets. Having bilingual officers is definitely an asset to an agency. We want to make sure that we are out here with the ability to service the needs of different populations. In this area, we do have a large Spanish-speaking population, so it's good to have officers who speak the language. It helps us in our jobs, and it bridges the gap that language barrier sometimes causes. LTEC 2019.
2219.
I'll be at a traffic stop on a blue Dodge Charger, no plates, LaGrange and Jackson.
Jackson, LaGrange.
All right, so two kids in a brand new sports car. Just there they are again. They're just taking it out. They were in front of us. They squealed the wheels a little bit. It's definitely okay to enjoy yourself and have some fun. We just want to make sure that everybody's safe, that nobody's driving in a manner that's going to cause anybody else harm. But ultimately, they were just having some fun, so they were just given a verbal warning, and that was it. All right, we're responding to an alarm call. It's at a residence, so sometimes these are tripped off by the resident. not putting in the right passcode or opening the door and forgetting that the thing is armed. But you always have to respond to these types of calls, assuming that there could possibly be somebody entering the residence illegally. So we're gonna go and back up the officers that are going to that now, and we'll see what we got. LTEC 2019, 23.
10-4.
Okay, so like on many alarm calls, you never know what you're going to get until you get there. We spoke to the resident. They stated that they had not set the alarm properly. Passcode was given when we got there. All was in order. We did make sure that the resident, there wasn't any signs of distress or no entry. You want to make sure that there isn't somebody in the house making the resident, state that everything's fine. So everything was fine. We checked the perimeter and everything was good. So back to patrol we go.
Grange Park units responded 1123 on house stranger. Complainant's over at the neighbor's house. She's going to step out when she sees you. Again, she saw footage on the doorbell camera of someone walking around her front and back door. They like a walkthrough again. 1123 on house stranger.
LTEC 2019 23.
9-4.
Grange Park Police! Grange Park Police!
So we've got a couple officers that are reviewing footage and a couple officers that are canvassing the area to see if anything was seen. Basically what happened was two people came to the front of the house and made entry into the house. It's unknown how long they were inside or why they were there, but we did have two officers check the interior of the house, clear each room, and then two officers stand at the back to make sure if we did encounter someone and they tried to flee out the back, that we'd be able to apprehend them.
2317 from 24. Did you get any description from the video at all?
So at this point, we're just going to try to see if these people are still in the area and
Negative.
what their motive was.
Checking it out.
It looks like it from the video footage that they entered the house, but it doesn't look as though they disturbed anything or took anything. And the response time that we had was so fast that if somebody wasn't there trying to find something, we would have happened upon them as soon as we got here. But like I said, myself and another officer checked the inside. Two officers were around the back, so that eliminated the ability for them to flush out without there being officers there to apprehend them. So at this point, we just go from house to house to see if they're trying the same thing there or if anybody caught camera footage on their house cameras. So, but the homeowner is visibly shaken. I think they were at a neighbor's house for a get-together, and she's definitely afraid that the people were in their house and why they were in her house.
Hello. Welcome to the Grange Park Police Department. I'm Sergeant Matt Fellers. Part of what makes our community so wonderful are the neighbors that are in it. Why don't we get to know some of them?
My father opened up in Brookfield, right next door, in 1984, and he was in Brookfield for 10 years, and he had to expand, so we found a nice spot here in Grange Park. We came across the street, and we've been here since 1995. I like working with my dad. He's a hard worker. I see him every day. We work together. He points out the bad stuff about me, the good stuff, whether it be personal or about the restaurant. It's like a checks and balancing. He sees stuff that I don't see, and I see stuff that he doesn't see. And like I said, it's working with him every day. I see him every day. We talk every day. And if we didn't work together, how often would I really see him? Once a week, once a month. So this way, we're always in touch together. I went to culinary school. I double majored in hospitality management and culinary arts. I like food. I like being my own boss, working with my father, just making customers happy. It's not always about, making a lot of money. It's a lot of hours and just making people happy. Honestly, we sell a lot of everything. Homemade Italian beef, the gyros is good. Roasted chicken we sell a lot of salads. Recently, we just did a big push to improve our pizza. That's working out great. Just whatever we have good quality. And everything's good. Well, I've been working here at Bill's Place since about 2000. I love seeing the customers. I love building relationships with them, talking to them, seeing how their families are doing. They're always asking me about my family. I love working with my dad. We have great staff here, long-time employees, always come to work. They're dedicated just as much as my father and myself. We give back to the community. And it's a good environment to be a part of. We sponsor a lot of baseball teams. Every year I like to, if you walk in the vestibule, you'll see a lot of plaques. I like collecting those, and when I have them there from 1995 and the people come and that's them as a child, it's really great. And I work with a lot of schools, teachers, and just give back to the kids in the community. Bill's Place is excited to support Special Olympics and to help the kids stay busy, be competitive, stay active, and help them reach their goals. Well, you go on our website, billsfastfood.com. I integrated our computer system with our website, so you can order online, you can call in over the phone. We're on Uber, Grubhub, DoorDash. I mean, the way things are now with technology, it's all over the computer. So, billsfastfood.com.
I've been in the hardware business almost 50 years. I started in 8th grade and I've never left. My mom and dad happened to buy the store I was working at, which is now Kenny's Tavern in Countryside. We eventually moved that one into here back in 1985. Mom and dad, I've been very fortunate. I got to work with them for as many years I have. My dad's 90 years old, still comes to work 6 days a week, fills out a spreadsheet every morning, 25 columns by hand, and he's very sharp at it. Very much a part of the business. I think one of the favorite parts is the friends. You could call them customers, but we call them friends that we've gained over the many years that we've been here. They've been supportive of us. Their loyalty to the local family business has been great. We hope we've been supportive back. It's like a marriage in the community, and we're very, very, very thankful. And the friendships, like I said, it's just not a customer. You know their names when they walk in. You couldn't find anything more satisfying when you look in the mirror in the morning, you're going to work, you're like, you're not going to work. It's not work when it's fun. At night when you put your head on the pillow, you know that you've helped many people with problems that they have or projects at their house. That's just a satisfaction that you've been there for the community and they've been there for you. It's like I said, it's nothing more, you know, how do I say, the happiness is just unbelievable to do that. We're just after the COVID, we're just getting back on our feet to we just had a grilling class here on Friday night. Chef Jason all the way from Denver, Colorado came in. We had 20 people here for a class, all up the state class is what it was called. We've done other classes, barbecue classes, chili classes, how to brine a turkey class. We had a ladies' night grilling here. 72 women were here, and they stayed for 3 hours. But this November, the week before Thanksgiving, our Santa Claus will be back and the Live Ranger will be back. Hopefully we get the fire department to bring Santa Claus back in. Those guys are great, along with the police department. But no, our events are back up, and my dad and I feel it's our way of giving back to the community. That event's totally free, but it's our thank you for all your support for the year. We hand out about 130 pounds of chili. It's homemade, coffee, cookies. It's just a thank you back. I hope we impact it with giving back to the community. That's one of our biggest factors. We try to give back to the community. We try to employ all the local families, the local school kids, college kids. Try to be there when the customer really needs you, especially in emergencies, snowstorms, floods. We go out of our way to search out product to make sure we can get it here so you can take care of your homes. Also to beautify your homes with all of our garden center and our flowers, our pumpkins, our hay. We are a year-long, season-long greenhouse and Ace Hardware. We do a lot of different charities throughout the community, but Special Olympics, that has got a spot in our heart like you wouldn't believe. Everybody needs to stand behind these kids and let's support them. Let's make this happen. Well, you can always go to acehardware.com and order anything and order it online, and we'll have it ready for you to do pickup, curbside, or in the store. We also have it on our Facebook page, put different promotions that we're having, different events that we're having. If you follow us on Facebook, that'd be great. You'll see a lot of things that are coming up. And then just watch your marquee and come on in the store and look for our ads. And if you don't see it, ask. We'll try and get it for you.
Enos was established in 1976 through Richard's parents, and here we decided to go gluten-free for anybody with celiac disease, so we're catering towards celiac. What made us decide gluten-free was that I was having issues with gluten food. I was diagnosed with celiac disease, then our son also has gluten intolerance, so we just couldn't find anywhere to eat safely as a family and not go home and get sick. So that's why we decided to have the turnaround.
We're excited to be here. It took us a little long to move into this location. We were in Oak Park previously. We've had many customers come in only to see that our menus changed, and they were appreciative. We are looking to grow and help others.
And we also want everybody to know that we do take the celiac and the gluten-free dairy allergy very seriously. You know, it's what we put first. And if things are not done the way they're supposed to, we just won't put the items out there. So it is very important for us to have the community know that, and anybody else who comes in from surrounding communities. The lengths we had to take to achieve a gluten-free kitchen was definitely going through companies, making sure that there was no gluten processed in the facilities or in the products of any kind. So it did take us about 2 years to research everything, calling companies, distributors. So we're very, very careful with everything. You know, we want everybody to come here and feel safe. Safe space for everybody to eat.
Right now, we've made veggie fajitas, and I'm a meat person. I tried it, and it's outstanding. We put zucchini, mushroom, onion, tomato. What else?
Bell pepper.
Bell
onions.
pepper.
Yes.
Onions.
Seasoning. Love.
Yes.
Everything we cook with has to have love.
And what's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish has recently become the tacos al pastor. I hadn't had them for 10 years. I wasn't eating pork, so to finally try it and be gluten-free and everything, they're delicious. You know, they have little tidbits of pineapple, and our tamales as well, which some of them are vegan and they're all gluten-free, obviously. Everybody really supports each other too, as far as businesses, business owners, they all just really rally together. We've recently joined the LaGrange Chamber of Commerce, so we're looking forward to having more networking and doing whatever we can for the community. The hardest part of opening a business, and I'm sure many other businesses will tell you, is always being able to find the right people to work. You know, there's many things in between, getting loans, everything takes time. Employees, your menus, the location, everything. There's so many aspects to it, you know, that just are really hard to get over.
Our goals are to have change, to help people, to help the neighborhood grow, and for us as well. I mean, we would like to grow.
Hire locally as well has been one of the biggest things for us. We wanted to be able to hire high school students so they learn, you know, what it is to work in a fast-paced environment, a comfortable environment, even for them to have the chance to learn about allergies as well.
If you never tried us, come on by. Even if it's just for one taco, give it a try, and we're sure we'll make you a customer.
They can learn more about us through our Instagram or Facebook, or even just, you know, we're here all the time, so they can just ask us. You know, we're happy to answer any questions, anything they have. Yeah.
What I love about being a real estate broker with Baird & Warner is helping the people, right? Guiding them along the journey to potentially conquer their dream of owning a home or selling your home, of course. Best part about it is to see the smiles on their faces and helping families actually get into the home that they want to, you know, see themselves in for the rest of their lives.
My favorite part is working with people, especially with first-time home buyers. I just love the way they, when I take them to view homes, and then I just see the little kids jumping up and down and saying, "This is my bedroom, this is one." It's very exciting.
I love helping people with the biggest purchase of their life sometimes and helping guide them through it.
My favorite aspect of working in real estate is really negotiations. I love helping to create a win-win scenario for both parties. You know, whether I'm working with the seller or working with the buyer, but coming to the best terms for both.
For me, the favorite part of what I do is I get to work with all my agents on a daily basis and to help them find ways to grow their businesses.
My passion is to help people and to assist them with the finances and also to realize their goals of homeownership as well. And if there's a seller that would like to sell the property, to help them reach their goals as well.
The people, absolutely the people. It's not about houses, it's about people, their adventure from moving from one place to the next place and being there with them throughout that whole process. And every situation is different. So our day is different day to day.
Oh, I love being with people in the office. I love seeing all the people around me that are really friendly and ready to help each other and others. And I love working with people.
I feel really great about Baird & Warner sponsoring the Special Olympics, helping the Grange Park Police Department bring awareness to the program, and giving everyone an opportunity to achieve their goals and compete in the Olympics.
One of the aspects of being a part of the Baird & Warner family is that Baird & Warner is committed to good works. We have the Goodwill Network, and every year the organization gives thousands and thousands of dollars throughout Chicagoland. Being a part of giving back to the community is part of being a part of the Baird and Warner family. And the Special Olympics is, a great venue to showcase that we do that.
What we do here at Baird and Warner, and especially in LaGrange, is every year we have the office vote on a local charity, and agents then can choose to opt into giving back and taking part of their commission check, and it goes to that local charity for the year, and we give them a nice big fat check, and I love it. I love giving back, helping others. So help us help others.
The privilege is to be able to do things within the community to give back. So Special Olympics is an important cause, and obviously helping out the Grange Police Department on top of that. Again, giving back to local communities and Special Olympics is awesome.
I love that Baird and Warner is supporting Special Olympics this year. It's a great cause. I love that they're helping people achieve their dreams. And I think that only if we do it together, we can do so much more.
How do I feel about Baird and Warner supporting Special Olympics? I feel that is a excellent cause and organization for Baird and Warner to support, and also to help the individuals to reach their goals, and also to help them compete.
I've supported National Night Out here in Grange Park the last couple of years, and for the focus this year to be a lot more on Special Olympics, I'm really excited. It's brought more awareness to me, so I am passing the message along, and I'm really excited about the parade.
Oh my goodness, this is so good that Baird and Warner is helping out with Special Olympics, because this is such a good cause. I wish all companies will support the Special Olympics.
What I love about Baird and Warner supporting Special Olympics is it gives others opportunities that they may not have had otherwise, and those opportunities to help them grow and become the best that they can, and have this chance to participate.
First of all, on behalf of Baird and Warner, I want to first of all thank the Grange Park Police Department, and for everything you do and being able to give back to the Special Olympics. I just want to remind everybody at the end of the day, it's not one company or necessarily one individual, but we have a plethora of agents here, and especially these right here sitting with me, that have decided to give back not only to Special Olympics and the Grange Park Police Department, the community. It takes a team and a family to do what we do and what everybody does. So we're thrilled to be able to help Special Olympics this year, and I think everybody sitting at the table here is a part of that. So just like I said, at the end of the day, remember each individual that has been participating for this, because it's an important cause.
My name is Anna Wilk. I have been with the Sheriff's Department for a total of 7 years. I've been a police officer for 5 of those 7 years, and I've been with the K-9 unit for 3 of them.
Been with the department for about 24 years, with the K-9 unit for about 20.
My favorite part of working in the K-9 division is obviously playing with the dogs every single day.
He doesn't complain. He doesn't get to say where we go for lunch. He'll do anything and everything for us. They're passionate in being our best partners.
Working in the K-9 division, the way that it positively affects the community is, for instance, what I do is I look for missing kids. So reuniting a child with their parents, I mean, that's a blessing in itself.
From my patrol and narcotics aspect of it, we're making a decent impact in seizing narcotics. And so far this year, he has over about 3.1 million in currency seized.
My dog is a bloodhound. She is a 7-year-old bloodhound that's turning 8 August 1st. Her specialty is looking for missing, whether it be children, elderly, I mean, you name it, she could find it.
Barney just turned 2 yesterday, We imported him from Slovakia from Shell Creek Kennels in Pennsylvania. He is what we call utility narcotics, which encompasses patrol work, article searches for evidence, tracking violent offenders, narcotics, evidence recovery, and looking for individuals in buildings.
Before the dogs come out on the street, it varies on what type of dog. For instance, Lulabelle, the bloodhound, she's been training since she was 3 months old. So her entire life, all she knows is finding people from 3 months old. The narcotics dogs are a little different.
So for utility patrol narcotics canines, it's a 32-week course. 16 weeks of it is with the trainer, and 16 weeks is with canine and handler. From that, then we graduate, we take a couple other state exams, and then as Officer Wilk said, we progress to different various levels of training. Like Officer Wilk also, when they finish training, the bloodhounds go to the FBI.
If we're invited.
If they're invited, you have to be actually a pretty decent handler with the bloodhound to get invited by the FBI. And there's 3 tiers, I think, of 4 tiers of certification with the bloodhounds. So this is Canine Barney. I've had him from December. Offlegen. We graduated in January 20th of 2021. He has over about 3.1 million in the U.S. currency seized. He turned 2 yesterday. And a couple of special things about these types of patrol dogs is that they're the bodyguards of our bloodhounds. So they do live with us. They're part of the family. We truly bring our work home with us. Every day is the most memorable incident with him. He is just mischievous. He loves to get into things. He dove into the pond a couple of days ago. I had to grab him because he freaked out. He thought, he's just a little puppy still in a big dog's body, and he's very loving.
Hello, I'm Officer Anna Wilk, and I am a canine handler for the Cook County Sheriff's Police Department. I have been a police officer for the past 5 years, and the last 3 have been spent with this lovely lady named Lulabelle Francis. She is our 2nd oldest bloodhound in the county. She will be turning 8 in about a month. She's a bloodhound, and her sole purpose in life is to find missing people. Every day for us is the greatest day to come to work. We get to play, we get to hang out with kids, meet so many people, and it's just a great experience every single day. I think for me, every find is very memorable. I don't think that I will ever forget. To her, it doesn't make a difference whether she's looking for a kid or an elderly person or a criminal. To her, it's all the same. At the end, she wants to find exactly what she's looking for. And she'll do anything for treats. So, that's one good thing about these guys is our patrol dogs don't get rewarded with treats. These guys do only during training, and then in real life when we're looking for someone, because we instilled it in their head that they'll get treats, the person they find is the reward. So they're able to differentiate that. So they're always looking, and they try their hardest every time because they know that there's something at the end. There's something rewarding at the end. So one very unique thing about the bloodhounds as opposed to other dogs is that these are the only dogs on earth that can scent discriminate. And what that means is that Lula is able to take a scent and know exactly what she's looking for. She wouldn't, if I'm looking for, say for instance, two brothers. If I give her the scent of one, but they're both walking together, she knows which one she has to go sit on. So they're the only dog on earth that can scent discriminate, and that's what makes them so powerful and so good at what they do. And we do train our dogs, so the 2 dogs across the street, although she's very intrigued by them, she knows that she has to leave them. So they're trained from a very small age to leave squirrels, bunnies, other dogs, cats, because we can't have them distracted. When we're on a mission, we can only focus on that mission. Nothing should deter them from their mission. The way that I feel about both departments, LaGrange Park and Cook County, supporting the Special Olympics is it's amazing. I believe that the foundation is wonderful for the children that are involved. It gives them a chance to participate in what everyone gets to participate in. So it's an amazing thing to be a part of.
It pretty much reignites the inclusivity mindset, and it provides that community policing that the community needs from public servants as ourselves.
I really hope you enjoyed our first ever all virtual National Night Out event. Let's remember to work together as a community to help Special Olympics of Illinois this year. Thanks for watching.